through the years and the many theories, many hints have been strung together and solved, but there was one hint that I don't think I have ever seen used before apart from dream theory. And that is in the FNaF 4 minigame. Why would the tiny toy chica be missing her beak? That, and a couple of other hints shown on screen now, were released during a GT live stream on Scott Cawthon's now empty website, scottgames.com. This clue was one of the points for a now infamous theory, dream theory, which basically said that the first 4 games were all dreams from the crying child. But, although it might have been true at the time, now it seems to be that the first 4 games are in-universe games loosely based on the actual happenings of the Fazbear franchise. And since dream theory, I have yet to see a theory using this piece of evidence. Until this theory, you see, the way this was used was that since the Toy Chica toy in a FNaF 4 minigame was missing its beak, and Toy Chica in FNaF 2 was missing her beak. Therefore, the dream theorists concluded that the crying child saw that the toy was missing her beak, and when he was in a coma he dreamt that Toy Chica was evil and is missing her beak sometimes. Now, for my theory, I believe that while FNaF 2 might not be a dream, but it might be a hallucination similar to FNaF 4 that is created using illusion discs or hallucination gas. Here's why. So, as previously stated, Jeremy Fitzgerald, or whoever you play as in FNaF 2, must have seen the unreliability of the Toy Chica's beaks, which were likely meant to move, so when you would move the Chica figurine around, the beak would probably fall out easily. So, when the guy you play as sees whatever triggers the Toy Chica hallucination move, he visualizes its beak falling out. Now, I actually have some evidence for the illusion discs/gas existing in FNaF 2. For the illusion discs, we have Mangle's voice. And this audio, which only appears when you have the camera monitor up, possibly suggesting that an illusion disc is on the monitor, but the sound sounds a bit too rhythmic to be an illusion disc. But, the gas has more evidence to stand on because of the puppet, and maybe Balloon Boy and Mangle. While wearing the mask you can't wind up the music box that the puppet resides in, but also you breathe heavily, suggesting that your airflow is restricted. So, maybe, William Afton made this pizzeria to test his new illusion technology, but to make sure that his test subject didn't just keep the mask on, which would remove the effects of the gas, he put in the puppet to keep the test subject without the mask. Little did he know, the puppet was alive, or he knew and he just decided to deal with 2 problems at once, those 2 problems being the containment of the puppet and the test subject. Now, for the last part, where I believe that Funtime Foxy might be Mangle, or at least a prototype of him. You see, while she seems different from Mangle apart from the base colors and theming, there was FNaF World in the graphic novels and to a lesser extent the books. 4th closet, page 266, quote, Foxy, Jessica thought, hazily taking in pointed pink ears and yellow eyes. Its cheeks were pointed like the animatronic girl's had been. The creature looked at her for a long moment, and she stared back, unable to remember how to move her feet, and then the fox head retreated, and all the children screamed. Something new sprang violently into the room, a long segmented metal limb like a spider's leg. It braced against the floor just as a second metal leg violently invaded the space, embedding itself in the nearest wall. And then the rest is just about the room filling with arms and legs, and then the rest of the story. Obviously, the books are not entirely canon to the games, but it is notable that the limbs are described as the limbs of Mangle, and they draw Mangle in the graphic novel. The generated voice box instead of preset lines that the other animatronics use could possibly explain Mangle's mangled voice, and maybe Funtime Foxy's anchor feature explains why Mangle can walk on the ceiling. I mean, sure, Mangle would still weigh near 1 ton, and it would weigh even more if it was Funtime Foxy, since they are more complex. But, if anything, that would just prove my theory about hallucinations or dream theory more, because either it's the equivalent of a cardboard cutout or it's dreamt up by a child with no concept of physics. That aside, if my random string of thoughts is to be believed, Mr. Afton was working on the sister location line. He scrapped a Funtime Foxy animatronic, decided to reuse his animatronic for this experiment since animatronics are not cheap. Well, that will be it for this theory. The gist of it is that FNaF 2 was Afton's test for his gas. He might have reused Funtime Foxy, which was still a prototype, so it looked all mangled. Please comment your thoughts on the theory, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.